Hi Aaron. So I just wanted to say that I love your some light on. I love your YouTube channel, and I wanted to respond to this because I just actually made a video about this on my channel. But how important is passing to me? Passing is like to me, passing is pretty important, and I think maybe it has a lot to do with the fact that I view myself as heterosexual. Um, that passing has a lot to do with it because I think I feel a lot of pressure from men to be passable. Because a man wants most men that I've been out with, like they don't want to be reminded of your previous gender, and to do that you sort of have to be very passable, and it's so weird because I definitely don't believe in like transitioning for men, um, but I have to say that like a lot of what has pushed me into my transition has been men. Um, Not pushed me into it, but pushed me further. And for the better, really, but passing is pretty important to me. I can totally identify with what you say about, you wake up one morning and you see something and all of a sudden you're not passable. Like, with me, like, I've never had a facial hair. Like, I've never let it grow. And I've always had this like habit of just shaving. But whenever I put my makeup on, like I really have this sort of paranoia about my upper lip and my chin because I don't want any stubble to be there. And it like even like after I put on a good 2 layers or 3 layers of makeup, there's still like a darkness there, and I know it's just like a shadow, but it bothers me to the point that I'm like standing there in the mirror putting more and more foundation over it. Um, but yeah, like passing to me is pretty important. Um, I think that if I weren't passable, I would be very sad. And there was a point in my life where I was not as passable, and I just wasn't very happy because everyone knew. It's like it's weird because I think with the question, um, how important is being passable to you, you also have to ask the question, how important is being stealth to you? Like, do you want to be like, I'm trans, that's who I am, or do you want to be like, I'm a woman and that's who I am? Because I feel like there is that difference because I've met trans people that they're trans, that's who they are, and they're not ashamed of it. On the other hand, I've met people that like they don't want to talk openly about their transition because they don't want anyone else to maybe find out. Um, so that's basically how I feel. Um, Sorry, I'm just responding to a friend. But yeah, I mean, being passable is very important to me. Um, I saw someone that like made a comment that said something about like sometimes I feel like when I dress more feminine, I'm not as passable. It brings out the masculinity, and I definitely believe in that because I sort of feel like I'm an artsy chick. Like I'm very raw. Like I'm a scavenger. I make my clothes. Like that's me, and it works for me. I don't think like I had a secret admirer that got me. In fact, I might even be able to. They got me this. My secret admirer did not know anything about like my actual style, but they got me like this. It's like a sparkly, with it's like a sparkly like sequins dress, and it's not me at all, and it might be just because it is so feminine. Growing up, I never really idealized or not idolize women that were super super girly. I've always sort of like I liked Pocahontas, I liked Relic Hunter, I liked adventurous women that were pretty but adventurous and sort of challenge men's idea of what a woman was. And something like this is like, I wear it because I've tried it on several times. And whenever I try it on, it's bullshit. It's like, to me, it's like, it's so feminine that it highlights my masculinity. And I think part of being passable is knowing what you can wear and what you can't wear. Um, I definitely have a thing for over the shoulder because I feel like it's one of those things that it like is instantly feminine. You know, I actually kind of want to make a video about like dressing and like how to take, because that's basically what I do with my art. Well, a lot of my art is I take masculine clothes and make them feminine. Um, it's basically what I do. So I kind of want to make a video about that. But yeah, I mean, passing is very important. And being transgender, like, being trans, like, it's kind of weird because it definitely complicated my life a lot. It's because, you know, once you're so comfortable being trans, like, I go to art school and everyone's very accepting, blah, blah, blah. Once you're comfortable like that, you sort of forget that the rest of the world doesn't think like this, you know? So I mean, I'm passable. I go out. I've never had like a person walk up to me and like threaten me or anything like that. But you know, when I have to apply for a job or I have to show my identification, like I remember one time when I was hanging my stuff for an art show, um, I walked up to the security guard and he was very flirty. You know, he started to flirt with me. He was very nice to me and stuff like that. And I I asked him if I can borrow a ladder, and he needed to see my ID because you know he wanted to know who I was and he could write it down and like keep my ID if I didn't return the ladder. And I gave him my ID, and instantly the demeanor changed because my ID it's like from my freshman year when I was in my weird androgynous phase where like I looked definitely more male and my name was on there, my male name was on there. And he was like, "Oh no, 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 I need your ID." And I was like, "Unfortunately, that is my ID." And the demeanor changed, you know, because people just react so differently when they know, you know. And for me, part of my security is the fact that I am passable and that I feel comfortable because of that. And that's part of what's made my life better, if that makes sense. Because I don't know, sometimes I question like whether or not I know this isn't true, but sometimes I think about it like whether or not being trans is just easier because it's more heteronormative, because it's just something that is more accepted in a weird sort of way. I'll never really know. I'm gonna make a video about that. But I mean, that's, you know, it's changed my life, but it has complicated it in a lot of ways. Because, you know, when your identity matches your look, then you don't really have that issue. But when it doesn't, you know, I gotta get my name and gender changed as soon as possible. But it is what it is, so. Yeah, that's my video response. I love your channel. I watch a lot of your videos. So, yeah. Bye.